Hi, good morning here still from Palm Springs. Valerie Milano, the senior editor of the Hollywood Times and Aspiring Magazine. And I'm so glad to have our guest here today and a new friend of mine. Um, I'm delighted to speak with Mark Pellegrino, the founder of Impel Gallery, a space dedicated to bringing new and emerging artists and artists who may not yet have representation into Palm Springs art conversation. Let's learn more about the vision behind this exciting gallery. Mark, tell us a little about Impel Gallery and the vision behind creating a space dedicated to emerging and underrepresented artists.
Okay, so I had started here earlier on doing pop-ups in different galleries around the space, around Palm Springs, and they were very successful, except that I hated hammering nails into other people's walls. So I started looking for my own space. Happened chance that KGA, a radio station down here in Palm Springs, were moving, and their office space, which is the space I took over, and Brad Furr, who's the head of KGA, became a friend of mine. He says, "I'm looking to sublet this within the same time frame that I was looking for a place." So that's how that all started. It was about a year ago, December, that I had my first show, but I took over the gallery a year ago, October. And in that year, I have had 25 different artists show, a couple of exhibitions, a couple of other interesting things, because I want my gallery to be known for and used for other things other than just showing art, but on the art level. So.
Good. Well, yeah, Palm Springs already has a vibrant art scene. What gap did you feel Impel Gallery could fill within the community?
Well, the lot because of the vibrant art scene that's down here, and most of it's are artists who either have been professional artists or have reinvented themselves. These people have reinvented themselves into becoming really great artists. We have some amazing artists down here in Palm Springs, but most of them have their own space. So the space where they actually do their work and then they show their work. And for the longest time, that's all there was. And the galleries that were down here would represent people, but they would want people that were better known. They weren't really bringing in people who didn't have a way of showing their work. And I know a lot of artists have been showing small pieces here in fairs or at the Desert Arts Center, which is a nonprofit, but they wanted to have a show. And this gave me the opportunity to bring these people in to see their work hanging in a gallery setting and it being exposed, which is basically my job, is to expose these artists to the world. Not, I mean, sales are always great, but I want these artists to be seen. I want them to sell their work so they get into people's homes because everybody here has parties, blah, 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 and they see the work. And then they start asking, "Oh, who did that? Where did you find that?" kind of thing. And it's a really exciting thing to be able to do that for people, artists who cannot display their work anyplace else.
Exactly. So, how do you discover the artists that you bring into the gallery? Are you looking for a particular style or story or point of view?
A wise person down here told me, I'll start with this, that I have to vet the artists. It's like I love all artists. I think every artist is amazing, but not every artist is amazing. I don't
Yeah,
know how else
right.
to say, I don't know how else to say it. So a lot of artists I have come across either via friends, other artists that I know in the Coachella Valley. I go to shows all the time, and I find these artists. And then as the gallery kept progressing, I started getting hit up by a lot of artists, which is really amazing. So, and then look, the first show I had was a local artist, and he says, "I have this really great friend of mine who's an artist in Chicago." And I said, "Well, let's put a show together." This is how this all started with him because you're going to be comfortable with having your friend here. Their work worked perfectly together. They complemented each other without overpowering each other. Um, and that's how it started. So I find artists, artists find me. I am in the process of building a stable of artists so that I could put shows on in upcoming months and seasons cohesively so that there's a blend of work.
What excites you most when you encounter a new artist whose work you want to share with the public?
I'm fascinated by art. I'm fascinated by the work that happens. Um, I try to make them aware that the biggest thing that can happen for them is exposure and to keep their prices down. I know a lot of them fight me on this, and I'm like, and I jokingly say, "Well, your art is good, but you're not Picasso." You know, it's like we go from there. Um, and that's how I vet them. It's how I find them, and I find work. The work covers a range of styles. It covers a range of mediums. When I do have shows, I have 3 to 4 different artists in my show, and it's everything from photography to sculpture to ceramics, collage work, watercolors, um, cutouts. I mean, it's amazing the artists that are down here, and then it all works together.
Yeah, obviously I met you the other night. I was visiting. The gallery is currently showing photography by my friend Reed Brown. What drew you to her work and what made you want to feature it at Impel Gallery?
Well, this is actually the second show I've had for Reed Brown. The
Oh,
first, when I first met Reed, it was at another art function, and I was talking to a woman named Carol Ketchum, and she said, "Oh, my friend Reed here is a photographer," and she showed me, and I said, "Well, where do you have your work?" And Reed goes, "On my phone," and so I looked at it, and I said, "You're you're pretty good." I said, let's talk more about doing something like that. So, a year in, when did I have her show? In October. I had a show this past year in October called Saturation. And I used a lot of her photographs that she manipulated with color. And then I had a painter, a ceramicist, and then somebody who did these amazing cutouts. It's hard to explain what his work is, but it's beautiful. And we did the first show with Reed. And I wanted her to be actually more successful than it had been. So we talked some more. Excuse me, we talked some more. And we put the second show together with her figurative pieces, and they're going very well. So
good.
that's how that happens. And I like Reed. I think Reed's a very special person. Her and I have developed a really great relationship, and we laugh a lot together. So yeah,
Yeah,
she'll be in another show eventually.
beautiful. So, for visitors who may not yet know Reed Brown's photography, what stands out to you about her artistic voice or perspective?
It's exactly that. Her perspective on what she takes photographs of is amazing. I mean, she has an eye that captures things. And that this show this time is called Moments, and she has figurative work of people caught in the moment. And if you look at the photographs that you see, you'll say, what is that person doing? Why are they doing it? What's going on? You want to be if the photograph begs a question or questions, I'm fascinated by it.
Mhm.
Um, and her manipulation of photography is amazing. And she's just has a really good eye, just an amazing point of view with her photographs. I don't necessarily see. I see a lot of photographs, trust me. I don't see a lot of photographs with a good as point of view as Reed's.
Yeah, and speaking of that, because you did mention, photography on a phone, how do you see photography, because you're a professional, fitting into the broader mix of artists and mediums that you plan to showcase in the gallery?
A very good question. There was a time where I didn't think photography was art. I mean, to be honest, it's a horrible thing to say, but I have come to learn as I moved along that it's quite a medium out there in the art world. Um, I was just talking to a friend of mine this morning who had gone to a house where this people had donated their photograph collection to the LACMA, which had Avedon and Maplethorpe and you name any big photography, and that's all they've collected for years and years and years, and they donated $30 million worth of photography to the museum. So there is that out there, and there are people who only collect photographs. So putting photographs into a show and making it viable for people to understand get a better understanding how photography fits in the art world. It takes just as much work as it does to paint or to create a ceramic piece or a sculpture. There's just as much intelligence and thought going into each piece that is chosen.
Getting back to the Palm Springs art scene,
Sure.
it has become a destination for art lovers, as we've talked about, and collectors.
Mhm.
How do you see your gallery, Impel Gallery, contributing to that growing creative ecosystem? And on that note, for someone who may not visit galleries often, what do you hope they experience when they walk through your doors at 610 South Bellardo?
So I've learned here in Palm Springs, first of all, if you're going to do something, make it an event because everybody in Palm Springs likes going to events. So I have multiple events during the time frame that my gallery is open and brings people in. And you saw I'm going to use you here as an example where you came in and it was vibrant, it was exciting, it was energizing. People were talking to each other. I mean, I will tell you, you would not believe who was in that gallery. We had the woman that was voted Philanthropist of the Year. We had the co-chair of the L Fund. We had, I mean, you name, I mean, we have every level of person coming in from collectors to newbies who just walk in because of the art walk. Um, and people start talking to each other and they start talking. And the best part about it is they get to meet the artists, which I think is a really big, important part down here. That's how it started for me. I went to artist studios. I met the artist, found out about how they do their work, how that their processes, and that got me more interested in their work. And thus, I'm a really ridiculously huge art collector. But don't let that get out. Don't, I will be inundated. But and my gallery shows new artists, people who have not been seen, and their price points are affordable. I want them
Mhm.
to be approachable and affordable, and I think that brings people into my galleries too. And I've gotten to know, so after so many shows, I've gotten to know a lot of the people that do come in. And now when I bring in a show, I said, hey, I have a piece of my show that I think you might like. So it becomes this event. People come in and they stay for an hour, half hour, 30 minutes. They're not just walking in, walking around and walking out. They get involved in all kinds of conversations with the artist, with me, with other people in there. And it's a lot of fun. And I not bragging, but my art, I get a lot of people in my gallery. Between on a good weekend, between 200 and 500 people walk through my gallery.
Fantastic. Good for you. I love to hear the success, really, of
But
the art scene.
it's all about the impression that you give, right? It's first impressions, and people become fascinated. It's really good to meet new people, welcome into my space, let them feel comfortable. I've gone to way too many art galleries where the gallerist sits behind their desk until you ask them a question, and then well, I don't want people to be afraid to talk to me. I want people to come up and say, "Hey, I went into this really welcoming environment." And it's so friendly and warm, and you get to meet the artists, and it goes on and on and on and on. But that's exactly what I want, and that's why people keep coming back.
That
So
is a beautiful thing. And so, finally, for our Hollywood Times readers and viewers, why should they make Impel Gallery one of their stops while exploring downtown Palm Springs?
because they
And tell us how can we find you? Social media or a website or what? I know it's
okay.
610 South Bologna.
Yeah, yes. So it's definitely a destination. We are part of a district called the Lofts Arts District that has a second Thursday art walk. So it's always the second weekend that my gallery is open. You are destined to meet some really amazing artists when you come to my show. And I'm going to say 7 times out of 10, someone will walk out with something because it moved them in some way. And all I keep hearing is your price points are good. Your price points are good. So being affordable, ultimately, those I'm hoping any one of these becomes a Picasso. I really am, but affordable. You can find me on Instagram at Impel Gallery. I don't have a website yet. Um, um, and If you want to be on my mailing list for future shows, just send me a message at Impel Gallery with your email address, and I will put you out there. And my list is growing and growing, and it's everybody from the CEO of the Palm Springs Art Museum on down. It's the widest range of people in the art world and collectors from all over the United States and sometimes the world who
That
pop in.
is so great. I am so glad that I got to meet you. Thank you, Reed Brown and Carol Ketchum. And we are the Hollywood Times today, hollywoodtimes.net. Our YouTube channel is the Hollywood Times Official. We're also aspiringmagazine.com. And today we had Mark Pellegrino, the founder of Impel Gallery, a space dedicated to bringing new and emerging artists and artists who may not yet have representation into the Palm Springs art conversation. Thank you again. And I know I will see you very, very soon.
And I hope I see a lot more new people coming in from wherever this magazine is shown. It would be amazing. Yes, and
Beautiful.
let me know that you saw it on this channel. That would be fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, and I will be sending you a report soon.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much. It
you,
was
Mark.
great
It's a
talking with
pleasure
you.
to meet
All right.
you. Yes.
Bye-bye.